I was kind of curious more about your story, and not necessarily the details of individuals that you interacted with and stuff, but just like, you spent a good chunk of your life with this group. I mean, at least 4 years. And so I imagine, there is an impact of that from going from being invested to not as invested. Do you have any more to say about that, or anything that you think you could share with people that would be meaningful to that? Because I think that's something that a lot of us experience when it comes to religion in general, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not with paranormal groups. I don't think most of my listeners have experience with that, but a lot of people who watch this show can resonate with that. So
Yeah.
any comments on that kind of perspective?
Well, yeah, and we've said this a few times too, that the whole idea of apophenia,
Yeah.
I think it's really important, because it's not just seeing Jesus in toast or, a confirmation bias. It's making connections, and it can be anywhere. I mean, look at, there's some crazy stuff happening in this country. These people believe some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that it's really important to understand why our brains do that, and how our brain works, and that sometimes we make connections and not even realize. I think as we were talking before the show, I said, somebody says that they heard, footsteps in the hall.
Yeah.
They've already made that connection,
right,
because it's footsteps, and it's really subtle, but I think it's really important for people to understand that, because if you understand it, you can kind of recognize it and maybe not fall into like beliefs that can end up being harmful.
Yeah, I think like people might look at an episode like this and say, "Oh gosh, this is so silly. This is just ghost stuff. Whatever.
Right.
It's only a small group of people that are really invested in this. Who cares? We have bigger issues to worry about." But really, the heart of the issues that we tackled tonight, with how you got into this belief, how this was meaningful to you. I mean, this is applicable for everything. I mean, look,
Yeah.
Nobody's called in about QAnon tonight. I was prepared to talk about it if people want to talk about it, because I've been wanting to talk about it. But I have guests that are more specific, better for specific topics than others. But like, look, everything that we're seeing in the country right now, not to date this too specifically, with what's been happening in recent weeks and what we've been seeing for years, has been the culmination of what we've both experienced as people, Bridget, of putting science together and putting things together and not using good reason and good evidence to come to the conclusions of our beliefs. And if anybody's going to tell me at this point, "Oh yeah, this conspiracy stuff, that doesn't mean anything," yeah, well, you're not paying attention to what's been going on. You really aren't. Like, this is not only a big phenomenon, but it's getting bigger. It's only getting bigger, and it has not shown signs of slowing down. So I want to encourage people to, like, I don't know, take away from this what you would take away from these other kinds of beliefs, and really try to figure out what's going on here, because it's a complicated thing. Sometimes it's emotional investment. Sometimes it's just bad logical arguments. Sometimes it's apophenia. Sometimes it's something else. But to dismiss it and say, "Oh, we don't have to look at this. We don't have to examine this because this is just a small subject of people. This doesn't affect me in any way." Bullshit. This affects all of us in major ways. It may not be ghosts. It may not be demons, but it could be conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It could be specific political ideas and just all kinds of stuff that really matter.
It's not the belief, it's how you get there. And you need to stop and think about why you believe it.
Yeah. So, Bridget, I am really, really glad you got to be on the show tonight. I've been so excited to talk about this. We got a ghost episode down, folks. I wanted to do a dedicated ghost episode, and here we are. We did it on episode 100. Again, I have to thank everybody so much for being so supportive of this show. I can't believe I've done 100 of these. Well, technically 99, but whatever. Really crazy. I don't want to vamp on it too much, because I feel like I did it pretty recently with the last episode of the year, which was just a couple weeks ago.